was born, what they called it elongated tongue. I don't think they knew of another word, and it was the tongue of a 10-year-old, which was double in length, thickness, and width. And so when I went home, they had to, in fact, keep me in the hospital the first month of after I was born. They had to feed me by putting my head lower than my feet and feeding me with a medicine dropper when the tongue would go to the side. But when I went home, my parents treated me just like my brother and sister. And a young child, we don't know race, we don't know gender, there's no prejudice. I was in a loving home. But it didn't take long for me to realize that I was the only member in the family that my tongue would not go into my mouth. And so shortly after starting school, the tongue continued to grow, and as it grew, there was a severe speech impediment, and later on the doctors, the dentist had to advise that they pulled 9 teeth out of my mouth to make room for the tongue. And then they taught me to use the lower teeth, as they called it, speech therapy, a fence. And the tongue, I would have to kind of manipulate it with my hand and double it behind. And as long as I kept my mouth closed and didn't eat or speak publicly, I could keep it, even though my cheeks were kind of...
And what would happen when you would speak?
Oh, when I would open my mouth, the larger the tongue, the more saliva that you create. So the mouth was always full of what you could call saliva or drool. So when I opened my mouth, it would, come down, I would drool, and then the tongue would come out, and then I would have a very heavy accent.
That is one of my favorite testimonies. Wait till you hear what happened to her. Linda, tell us.
Jan was sitting in church, and she wasn't expecting to have anything happen, and the pastor had a word of knowledge for her that said, "You're going to be healed." She went rushing home and told everyone, but it didn't come for months, and she kept believing and kept holding on. One day she was in church. A lady prayed for her that she didn't even know, and electricity shot through her. Her tongue started burning and vibrating, and it shrank up to its normal size.
Wait till you hear the first words she said when she got home.
When I walked in the door, my parents had already laid down for the night. And when I opened the door for the first time in my life, I said, "Mama," plain. And my mother came down the hall and met me, and she said, "He's done gone and healed you, hasn't he?"